Welcome back, guys. Good morning. All right, today we're going to do a twin flame message. Okay, I had a really profound morning. I've literally been awake since my partner went to work, which was like 5:30, which is so weird for me. I'm usually waking up now. It's like 9 o'clock. So I posted about it over on my Instagram. Like, it was this insane channeled message that I've never gotten before on this journey. Usually my messages that I channel, they're ones about the healing that the Divine Feminine is facilitating for her counterpart. I'm just saying her for the purpose of me because I identify she, her, but whatever your pronouns. And today was one about the Divine Masculine facilitating healing through my sleep, my Divine Masculine. And this, as we know on this journey, whatever I go through first, you guys experience it shortly after. Excuse me. So go and check that out. It's the August 2nd update, this one. Okay. And essentially, go and read the channeling because it goes into it in better detail. I don't want to do it here because I want you guys to go and head over there and follow me there for more updates like that. But essentially, I was dreaming. I had multiple consecutive dreams in the early hours of the morning, and they were all about, it was 3 of my significant exes. And when I say significant, I mean like my first proper love, the guy I lost my virginity to. After that was the person that I was with for 6 years, my last serious relationship. And after that, I was dreaming about my last, most recent sort of ex, where it was a weird thing. We were together, but we weren't. He couldn't commit, that kind of thing. And it was significant because he had children and I loved those kids with every fiber of my being. So it was quite a heartbreak for me when I decided to move it forward. So it was just really strange to me that I was dreaming of all 3 of them, my most significant ex-partners, consecutively in dreams. And in these dreams, I was their girlfriend, in each different scenario. And yeah, it was just really interesting. I had no sensation or feeling of George being there as one of them. It definitely, the way that, it's really hard to explain, the way that I can explain the way that I sensed his presence was as if we were both watching these play out, as if they were memories, even though they're not memories. Like, I've not had instances like that. So yeah, that was really interesting. And it really stuck with me when I woke up, and I decided, okay, I'm just going to go into it and see if I can channel a message about that. And what came through was super profound, that my partner, my boyfriend, George, had facilitated that whole sequence of those dreams during our sleep. He had facilitated that. The reason I had those dreams was because he, in his 5D state, had facilitated that dream. And when I was pondering on what the purpose was, it came through quite clearly as being more like a sterilization of certain fragments of my soul that are still with those people, or that were still with those people, and more of like a sterilization, like getting them back by visiting that energetically, those fragments, and then sterilizing them. For what? For union. Excuse me. I'm still recovering from COVID. But anyway, yeah, it's really interesting because it makes a lot of sense. But super cool to have information that the divine masculine does heal us. Because usually on this journey, we only ever really hear about how the divine feminine, heals the divine masculine. How the divine feminine facilitates healing and initiates healing. And this time, the masculine had. So I want to go into a bit of that today, because that in itself changes, or makes me inquisitive, because it was, up until now, I was under the impression that the masculine heals and initiates on a 3D physical level. But here he is in the 5D on the spiritual level, healing and facilitating for the divine feminine. So we've got Unfinished Symphony that just flipped out just as I'm shuffling here. So let's see what the divine creator wants to touch on about that. Sorry guys, this cough. I feel like this Unfinished Symphony card is really touching on the soul fragments that are needing to be called back to the divine feminine. The whole point of the divine masculine initiating and facilitating that, what would you call that? Session? New life. Look at this. Yep. So there's things that within the journey, right, that need to be done. This calling back of the soul fragments that are still with those ex-partners. And these are old pieces of the self that need to be sterilized in order for this union, in order for this new life to come to a full fruition. So really, when we're thinking about it, sure, it's for both of us, but the divine masculine really did this for us. And I'm getting right now, I'm channeling that Spirit's telling me that this is something that only the divine masculine could do. In such a quick time. So the divine feminine could have done this, and there will be divine feminines on the journey who will do this themselves. But for this particular group of, this particular collective, in the sequential order of things, the divine masculine had to reach in and facilitate this. And he's the only one that can do it that quickly. Something about it being his jurisdiction. Co-create and clean it up. So it's a co-creation, it's a collaboration, and it's a partnership, because not only is this cleaning up and sterilizing the divine feminine, it also is doing that for the divine masculine too, so that the divine feminine can hold that certain bit of space for the connection. Now, I'm going like this because it's not clear to me yet what she's being a container for, what this sterilization. We know it's for union, but I don't know yet what the full purpose, like for what reason, like the mechanics of it really, like. Okay, let's get some tarot. I'm actually just going to move you guys back a bit more. Beautiful. Sorry guys, bear with me with the coughing. I know it's annoying. Trust me, it's annoying for me. And the sniffling. Okay. So when I'm not talking, I'm just like redirecting and focusing my energy on what it is that I want to be reading about, and I'm just tuning in. Death. So I'm getting here that the transformation has already occurred. Page of Pentacles. So it's about New to You, it's called. It's the new Normani, Tinashe, and Calvin Harris, as well as, who else? Offset. Okay. So with the Page of Pentacles, this is the nurturance stage. So the divine, I think, it's not yet clear to me whether this is divine feminine or divine masculine. I can assume that it's the divine feminine. We'll find out. But whatever it is, it's whoever it is, it's the nurturance of this new discovery. Tell me about this new discovery. What is this new discovery? Eight of Swords, and we had one flip over here, the World. So it's, okay, this is the talking about the unstuck again. So the getting unstuck. The unsticking has already happened. This is about integrating the new energy. What does that have to do with, ooh, Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so integrating the new energy to create that abundance. And that level of self-sufficiency that we've been striving for the last 4 months. Queen of Cups. Two of Pentacles. So this here is talking about the work and the physical, not physical, but the practice that has been practiced when it comes to the spiritual nature of the divine feminine. So the divine masculine in initiating this has been the divine masculine putting into practice everything that the divine feminine has been learning herself, and that knowledge that automatically gets shared on a soul level with the masculine. So the masculine is putting that into practice. That's beautiful. Wow. So that makes sense then. That makes sense as to why this is the first time that I've really gotten a download about the divine masculine facilitating something. It's because he now knows how. He now knows how to facilitate those types of healings, those types of events. The Seven of Cups here, this instantly when I pulled this talks about, like, this is telling me, like, this is talking about dreams, the dreams aspect of it. So I think Spirit wants to sort of deviate to there now. So, okay, let's see, what about the dreams? What about the dreams? Seven of Wands. We've got 2 sevens here, which is very spiritual. The purpose of the dream Look at this, we've got the divine masculine facilitating different phases of the divine feminine here. That's what I'm getting from that. It's about okay, so the energies from the exes had been interfering within the divine connection. So when calling back the soul fragments of the divine feminine that was still, okay, got it. So it wasn't that the divine feminine had been leaving her soul fragments there. It's soul fragments that those other, well, let's just for the sake of simplicity call them karmic exes, had been holding on to. So there are 3 people that had been holding on to a fragment of my soul from the time that I was with them. That's very interesting. And that had been interfering. So that's why the divine masculine had to facilitate that. It's knocking out the competition. Not that there was competition, it's just like knocking out the other residual energies that were holding on to the divine feminine from those times. Wow. And that's why it needed to be sterilized. Okay, so now I want to ask, what is happened to those soul fragments? What is happening? What will happen to those soul fragments now? As of right now. There are some of you that this happened as well last night. Others of you this will be happening. So just put a pin in it. I'm going to be talking about it as now. Just put a pin in that for the next coming weeks. I'm also getting as well, some of you, this dream situation with the soul fragments, that will be happening for you too. Some of you will remember the dreams, some of you won't. So don't worry if you don't. It doesn't mean it hasn't happened. So I want to know what is going on with those. Where are those soul fragments at now? The sun. Okay, so they're being sterilized by spirit. I feel like that's sort of saying like, yeah, in the 5D, they're being restored. Apollo here is significant for some people. Some of you might work with Apollo or really feel connected to Apollo's energy. Okay, I'm going to take those ones that fell then. Okay, so we've got the 9 of Wands. Okay, 6 of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups. I feel like that's saying the Divine Masculine hasn't finished with the sterilization process of those soul fragments. So what I want to ask now is, how does the Divine Masculine sterilize those soul fragments? I feel like that's a good question to ask. How is the Divine Masculine sterilizing the Divine Feminine soul fragments that have just been retrieved? Straight away, jeez. 10 of Cups, the Tower, and the 4 of Swords. A withdrawal. Ace of Pentacles. Look at this. This is like the Divine Masculine holding the soul fragment, coming up out of the waters of restoration. So I feel like there's going to be a brief, tell me about this 10 of Cups. Clarify the 10 of Cups as specific to this current question and situation. What is this 10 of Cups representing here specifically? Two of Pentacles. What did I say? What did I say? This was like him putting to work what he's learned from, and I'm just saying he just for the sake of context, what he's learned from the Divine Feminine all this time. So he's literally creating 10 of Cups between you. How is he creating? We know he's doing that, but how is he creating 10 of Cups? How does the Divine Masculine create the 10 of Cups in this context? The Wheel of Fortune and the 2 of Wands. I think first of all, what this is saying is there's events are triggered, meaning events happen, are brought to the Divine Masculine, which allow him to move forward and make a decision in some kind of way, which brings together the both of you. It brings both, it could be like a temporary union, like maybe a communication. I was picking up on something earlier, way earlier before I even started the video, about like the divine masculine having a vulnerable conversation with the divine feminine. So it could be something like that. It could be physical intimacy, which then causes this tower moment to happen. This is a good tower, but it does create temporary like withdrawal and recluse within the masculine so that he can transmute that. So the Four of Swords is a very spiritual card. It's about putting down everything mentally to rest, going within. It's like a mini hermit card, just not on such a permanent scale. Like the hermit hibernates, goes within for like months at a time in introspection. This isn't necessarily introspective, this is more meditative. So this is where that will be happening so that the soul fragments can be renewed. So then what happens after once he's done sterilizing the soul fragments, what happens then? Obviously the soul fragments are then restored. Four of Cups. Divine Feminine, I feel like you will notice a much, after a time of like discontent or dissatisfaction or boredom or apathy, you'll notice that that dissipates. So that's the first thing you'll notice. That's what happens. Yeah, look at this. Gee whiz. Okay, so you will be completely restored. You will like literally feel this new like resurgence of who you are in your most confident form. This is on a huge scale. You're literally going to be shining so bright. I'm really getting from this too that there will be a lot of success that happens after this. Then we've got the Hermit and the Knight of Swords. What happens after this? Queen of Wands, the Sun. Ace of Cups, a brand new beginning can happen. Tell me about this Ace of Cups as it pertains to the Twin Flame connection. The Emperor. So it's a brand new beginning with the Divine Masculine. Okay, I want to ask one more question before I let you guys go. I want to ask, how will this whole process of restoring the soul fragments and sterilizing them, what does that symbolize for the masculine? Obviously, this is like, it's an act of love. They're giving me like Mary Magdalene washing Jesus' feet. It's an act of love to the Divine Feminine, but what is it doing for him? What is it symbolizing for him spiritually? Two of Swords, so it's allowing him to know where he stands within his own existence, I'm getting. Removing that like indecision. Four of Pentacles, Seven of Swords, as well as getting rid of, as well as that self-abandonment. The holding back, which causes the self-abandonment. Basically, I want to know, how is this setting him up for union? How is this helping him step into his Emperor energy permanently? The Star. It's putting him right in front of his path, and I feel like it's aiding in like a certain awakening for him too. More of a conscious knowing of his spirituality and his spiritual gifts. It's almost like an awakening of how connected he already has been spiritually, and that conscious and you know, choosing to live and lead with that conscious awareness of his own sense of spirituality. Yeah, Emperor. Wow, King of Wands, Three of Pentacles, King of Cups. So he's collaborating, and this is it's allowing him to collaborate those parts of him, his emotional, vulnerable side and self, and also his action taking, let's get this shit done, inspired action, passionate energy. And then we've got the Ace of Cups, which is the offer of union or the promise of union, the King of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles. So this is already behind him. He's already got this behind him. Now he's currently, by doing this act, by doing this job, I'm going to call it a job, this is allowing him to use both of these energies and step into his awareness as a divine masculine on a conscious level. Wow, guys, that's literally huge. This feels super, super, super transformational. This feels huge. I would not be at all surprised if union happens by the end of this year for a lot of us. Permanent union, permanent, for those of us who are already in like physical union, this means permanent emotional and spiritual union, aligning with the physical union. Wow, amazing. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not already. And if you want a reading with me, you can purchase one by heading to the link in the description box to my website. Yeah, follow me on Instagram. The link for that is also in the description box, and I will see you next time.